What's going on, y'all? This Chief Afi, also known as Huggie Pacino, back with another video. So, I did a live earlier. I realized it was kind of sloppy and it wasn't really saying too much. I wasn't really clear about what's happening. So, I went to neuro intervention today, and we have a decision of surgery on the artery that's in my neck. There's two arteries in my head. Both have aneurysms. One is grown significantly larger since July when I first passed out at home. Now, to give you a backstory, 2021 I had this car accident where I got rear-ended, and I was going to meet some former friends at an Outback Steakhouse in Union Avenue in Memphis. And as I was in a turning, not really a turning lane, but as I was trying to turn to the restaurant, it started raining within like 2 minutes of the moment, and a car hit a car behind me. That car behind me hit me. I got rear-ended. Later on that evening, going to work, I noticed that I had this stiffness in my neck and issues with my back. Couldn't explain what was wrong with me, so I went to the ER. They didn't do any proper tests. They did an x-ray, nothing. I don't know why they did an x-ray, but I never got a CT scan the entire time. Eventually I went through physical therapy, got a lawsuit going against the lady that hit me. Insurance company paid me a little under $10,000 for the settlement, etc., etc., etc. And in the process of me going through a few things, I noticed between 2021 and 2022 I had these issues where I would have these slight headaches and certain little issues with the left side of my neck and head or whatever, and there were like headaches only when I wake up. They were minor, no big deal. So eventually I moved to Massachusetts in April of 2023. And around this time I was single. The ex-girlfriend, if those didn't know, I had a girlfriend from in 2022. We dated from July to December. I got back with her the end of May of 2023. So to make sense of all of this, in June, one night I'm sleeping and I'm laying there and I wake up and it was like one of those headaches, but this particular headache was extremely bad. And I remember screaming and I was damn near losing my mind. I felt like somebody was stabbing me in the back of my head. It was very bad. And I remember her grabbing me and holding me and like trying to get me to calm down, and it was hard for me to calm down. And I knew then I had a problem. So eventually what I wanted to go do was over time I tried to find some PCPs or whatever and get insurance and etc. And this was like close toward the end of June. So of course I was working at this other job that I had on my off days, because I do security. Obviously everybody knows this. So on my off days I would work at this gas station. This first particular day I was working 10 to 6. This was my actual first overnight schedule. Prior to that, I was doing training in the morning times, and eventually at nighttime, I was getting an overnight schedule. On the 3rd of July, I got off at 6 a.m. It was 4th of July. It was the Independence Day. I get off at 6. I go home. I jump in the shower. I go lay down. Eventually, my girlfriend at the time said that she was coming over to try to get some more PCPs wrote down so we could figure out who could be my, doctor and who I can actually do a walk-in, etc., etc., etc. I go to bed. I wake up at 10, very exhausted, feeling very weird. And I had like that feeling in my head, but it wasn't as bad as I normally have felt it. So I figured, well, if I could just go let her in, empty the trash, let her up. And I was giving my dog some water, and I was trying to straighten up a little bit. I had to vacuum, and she looked at me and said, you don't look right. You okay? I was like, I'm okay. And she's in the bedroom, and as I leave the kitchen and I put the vacuum against the wall, and I remember trying to grab the light switch and flip the light switch in the hallway where my dog was, and I just dropped and collapsed. I ended up going to the ER. We discovered through a CT scan that I had a dissection in my internal carotid artery, which you can see here. The internal carotid artery is in the neck at the very bottom, right? And that's that particular artery that you can see right there where it's pointed toward on your right. And that particular artery goes all the way up into the brain. Now I have aneurysm in my neck on the left side, right? So there's also an aneurysm that's in my brain, which I didn't know was in my brain. Now this is something they discovered through the team of the people that I did, the neurovascular team that's been doing a lot of research on tests. So the second CT scan that I got recently, they discovered that there was an aneurysm in the brain. Now, aneurysms are very dangerous. They basically are where you have like blood going into the artery and it's causing this type of, buildup. That's what an aneurysm is. It's basically, it's not good. And it's very dangerous, but I'm on blood thinners, I'm on blood pressure medicine. So what happens is I'm able to keep it under control. But that's not something that you will want to do long term. You eventually want to put a stent on an artery to get the proper blood flow going to the brain. So, back over here. To describe what an artery, what this would do is when they put the stent in, it will do this, and then eventually that on the right, which is the aneurysm, will go away. So this is what it says, and you see this black thing right here. That's basically like the little metal net that they will put in the stent, put the stent in the artery or whatnot. So to make sense of everything, right? I must have surgery on the internal carotid artery. That's a given. I will have to get it done in April. I can't do it in February. They recommended I do it in February, but they said the least I could put it off was April, and I said let's do it in April because if everybody knows, on the 2nd of January I had a car accident, totaled my truck. I'm in a very financial situation where I have to work extra hours to accommodate a car, to make the money, save the money, get another car, and then when I get another car, I give them to rent a car back. So that's the situation I'm in. Now once I get that in March, hopefully before March, but by March, first week of March, I'll be able to give it back. And then we'll have to go through the course of situation where we set up the surgery first week of April, right before my birthday, hopefully. With that being said, the main issue is this one. Now, they said in the test that they had this left middle cerebral artery is a very serious problem that hasn't really developed into a problem, but it looks like it may be. Since July, they saw it but didn't really see it, and eventually the recent study showed that it got a little bit bigger but not too bad. But they want to monitor it. If that particular aneurysm grows anymore, and if it doesn't go down, so it has to do two things. It has to either go down or maintain its particular size, and they know how to really measure it properly. The problem is if it gets any bigger or if it doesn't really grow, they're going to recommend surgery if it doesn't shrink. If it does shrink, then they'll just keep an eye on it, monitor it. Hopefully it does go away. This particular surgery, because to do the internal carotid artery surgery, they will go on the groin area with a small little wire and they'll be able to put the stent in, and it's a 5% chance of a problem, but that's pretty much a minor problem that could be solved. The major problem would be the brain, the aneurysm in the brain. They will have to go through my neck, my head, and that's a very risky thing. They also mentioned that we could go over time. We could possibly do the internal carotid artery, and they can have to go. They can go fix the brain aneurysm, but they will have to go from the other side. And that's something that they really don't try not to do because that will make it even more risky. But doing one surgery, coming back to do another when I have to eventually go on the neck and the head, that's going to be the risky one. I'm more concerned about the second one. I thought this would be easy to swallow, pause, for just the internal carotid artery. But they said that, hey, we have this other artery that's in your brain that's developing, and we want to make sure we keep an eye on that. If that gets any bigger or if it doesn't lose its size, surgery will be mandatory. We would want mandatory surgery for that. Now, it's all up to me. I don't want to do any of this, but I know people care about me and they love me, so I want to go through it, and I want to at least try to give myself an opportunity to stay here. So, along with the fact that 2024 has been a terrible year for me, car accident on the 2nd, losing my vehicle, working all these hours, going back, because I was just about to go back to working, like having off days, and look forward to coming back to Memphis on every other week and just having a good time and being able to still be able to pay my bills and just have fun. I'm not having fun right now. I'm working and things got to be done. I don't make any excuses. I make it happen. With that being said, I want to show you a video of what's going to be done for that particular surgery. And I'm going to try to see if I can find a video about what's to be done about the brain aneurysm as well. So it'll be 2 videos I'll share with you. I know this video has been kind of long, but I want to be very clear about what's happening here. So April, we're going to have surgery on the internal carotid artery. And the brain aneurysm, we'll keep an eye on that one. And let's hope that everything works itself out. And let's just hope that I even make it to even have this surgery, because I'm not out of the dark yet. I still have to make sure I'm on my medication, make sure I'm able to function properly. And that's the thing that bothers me, is that, well, I'm still on borrowed time until I fix the problem and get it completely solved. So with that being said, I appreciate you for watching this. Check out these 2 videos. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Make sure you share this information with people, because when you're having these issues with your mind or your brain and you have these headaches, please go get a CT scan, go get a check, go get a proper thorough checkup, go get an MRI. Do not ignore these issues, because at one point I was ignoring it and I didn't get if I got a CT scan back in 2021, I would have solved this and I would have been able to solve it a little bit early. But yeah, here we go. Something so minor, a minor rear end, has become a major problem that could kill me. If I didn't do anything, where would I be? And with that being said, it's Huggie Pacino, Chief Afi. I'm out.
Endovascular coiling, or endovascular embolization, is a minimally invasive technique performed to treat brain aneurysms. The goal of the treatment is to block blood flow into the aneurysm and therefore reduce the risk of aneurysm rupturing. In this procedure, a catheter, guided by a wire, is inserted through the femoral artery at the groin and threaded all the way to the affected brain artery. The guide wire is removed. A microcatheter carrying a soft platinum coil is introduced inside the initial catheter and is navigated into the aneurysm opening. The coil is then deployed into the aneurysm sac. A small electrical current is passed to detach the coil from the catheter. It may take several coils to fill the aneurysm. The coils induce blood clotting inside the aneurysm and seal it off from the artery. In some cases, when the neck of the aneurysm is too wide, a stent may be used to keep the coils within the aneurysm sac. Stent-assisted coiling involves permanently placing a stent in the artery prior to coiling. The stent acts as a scaffold inside the artery to hold the coils in place.
Now that's Huggie Pacino certified.